touchdown passes last year. This one's knocked up. Powers tips it to himself, and he'll score.
Snaps it anyway. Greer lobs it in the air. Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State. Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play this year. Here's a blitz, and Klubnik didn't see it coming. He got blasted by Kalen DeLoach, who has the ball and is heading toward the end zone.
What is going on, guys? We are back. It is week 8 preview on this fine Thursday afternoon here in October. In a sunny October here in Gainesville, Florida.
I don't know how it is up there, man, but down here it's nice and cool.
It's like 88 and sunny here. So
what, dude? It's like 75 here, man.
it was a little cool this morning, but yeah, not bad. It's been a little down in the 60s, 70s this week, though. But very
Felt
nice
great.
all week.
It felt great.
Oh, yeah. Nonetheless, we are back here for, like I just said, week 8 preview, episode 43. And got a great selection of games we're going to talk about today.
Yep.
But as always, before we start any podcast, make sure you guys are watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, and most importantly, subscribing. The viewership the last couple episodes has been great, but I have been on the investigation prowl. I've pulled out my magnifying glass, and I've been looking. Guys, watch time from subscribers. 89% of you from the last episode are not subscribed and watching. You guys are not subscribed, but you're still watching, which is great, but just subscribe.
Yeah, just press the subscribe button.
I mean, we only got 10% of subscribers that are watching. That 89, we need that on the subscribe side. So that makes it 100%.
It is good to see the likes were up, though, too. I saw we're at 5 likes this last one. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yes. Yeah, we had huge, great spike in numbers for the recap.
Yeah.
A couple episodes ago, we hit a record number at 82, which is awesome. But remember, listen, I mean, even in that one, guys, there's, again, not a lot of viewers, but a lot of them not subscribed. I mean, on this one, we had 84% of the people not subscribed that watched.
Yeah.
Just subscribe. It's free. You just hit that big red button, subscribe, put a thumbs up next to it, and do the same thing on Spotify. All right.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So now we got that out of the way. Let's get into some games. We will start off in the Big Ten. I think we can agree, unless, well, Dylan might not agree, but this is the game of the week.
Yeah.
It is a top 10 matchup between Ohio State and Penn State. It is what a lot are calling like the beginning of the round robin between Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan.
Yeah.
As they will all play each other. But the first one on tap is the Buckeyes and the Wolverines. Excuse me. This one is in Columbus. It's big noon kickoff. But you have College Game Day there. Big noon kicks there. Once Upon a Saturday tour. Shout out Josh Pate again. Is there. Everyone's there.
Yeah.
This huge Big Ten matchup. Again, this is going to have a lot of not only in the Big Ten, but as well as the big picture, the playoff. Dylan, initial thoughts looking at this one?
I think this is going to be a fantastic game. My initial thoughts are Drew Aller, quarterback for Penn State. No interceptions this season. I think that changes this game.
Okay.
I mean, that's my first thought looking at it right away. I think that this game, to me, this is going to sound a little crazy, is going to decide second place in the East.
It's because you think Michigan will end up winning the division.
Yeah, I think Michigan's still the top dog right now. But I really like what Penn State has done.
Yes, they've done a very good job. Played defense. They haven't had to do a whole lot. They're one of the one team that does not throw the ball down the field.
Yes.
Like 20 plus yards down the field. They're one of the teams with the fewest plays with that kind of yardage.
Mm-hmm.
But they really haven't needed to. They play really solid defense. They run the ball good enough, and they asked Drew Aller to do what he's needed to do, and that's just
and that's it.
don't turn the football over.
Yeah, and he's done that for them. He's been really, really good for them so far.
Yes. As well, if you look flip side to Ohio State, they also come in 6-0 with a huge win already on the road at Notre Dame. They've already showed that they can play a game where they can win on defense if the offense isn't there.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the two quarterbacks, Dylan, just who do you kind of favor more with Aller or McCord?
So this is a hard one actually for me. I don't know how you feel about this one, but Kyle McCord has shown significant problems at times. He struggled quite a bit at times this season. I mean, obviously, I think his best game of the season so far was the Notre Dame game, which was their best defense they've played. Just, he showed up as hard as, as good as possible, especially that, last half with the, the drive to win the game. But I kind of like Drew Aller in this game more.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, obviously they don't rely on him as much to, because they got great weapons everywhere. But I think his ability to not turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And the fact that Penn State has played good teams this year. They played West Virginia. They've, they destroyed probably the best defense in the Big Ten in Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, they took him to the back shed. So I really do think Drew Aller is going to have a fantastic game.
That's going to be a very good thing for Penn State fans because Ohio State is fourth in the country in passing yards allowed on defense.
Yeah.
So they don't give up a lot of passing yards. Vice versa, Penn State, like we said, does not throw the ball at the rate of some of these other big-time teams are. So they're ranked 79th in the country. But they are really good at, again, they're 16th in the country in rushing yards rushing yards per game.
Yes.
Ohio State is up there, too, in run defense at 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
I really think, though, it's going to come down to the run game, but as well as which defense is going to be able to make the most stops. We saw last year how it was JT Tuimoloau, if I said that name right, how he just completely took over that game when it looked like Penn State had a little bit of breathing room. I mean, he was able to come in and just wreck it.
Yeah.
And now this year, is he going to be able to do the same thing, or maybe is Penn State going to flip it and do something on their own? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know. I get exactly what you're saying.
Penn State's defense only allows about 72 yards a game.
I mean, Penn State's defense has looked better than Ohio State's defense.
Oh, yeah. I would.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You can finish what you were saying.
I was just going to say is that Penn State's defense, for lack of a better word, especially the past 5 weeks since the West Virginia game, has been, the best way to describe it is dominant. I mean, they shut out Iowa, they shut out UMass. They won 63-0 against UMass, which I know the first comment's going to be, well, it's UMass, but being able to shut them out and blow them out in the same game, that's tough. And they did it. I mean, they made it look easy.
I think, we're talking about defense. I think a big stat here that I just completely glossed over. Penn State is first in the country in sacks defensively. Yeah. They get after you, and we've seen that. Again, they relied on their defense, and they will get after you.
Yeah.
Ohio State is 105th in the country in getting pressure and sacks.
Yeah.
So,
I think that speaks more than anything to, in my opinion, the best defensive coordinator in America, Manny Diaz.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely up there. He's always been that defensive guy.
I think he's a bad, head coach in charge of everything kind of guy. But when you let him take control of the defense, I mean, look what he's done. Penn State's defense was, good a couple of years ago, but now it's like,
I think elite. Ever since that Penn State, really, I started noticing the Penn State defense, just how swarming it can be. Was the Rose Bowl last year when they just kind of took over that game. And I wonder if you're going to be able to do that this week against Ohio State with all their weapons.
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to maybe slow it down some, play it how they want to play it?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to
I
play
absolutely see
possession
that
by
happen.
possession.
I think that could easily happen in this game. As crazy as that sounds, because I think Ohio State has a fantastic at least their passing offense is incredible.
Neither
They
team. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Finish.
I know. I was just gonna say is that Ohio State, especially ever since Ryan Day took over, has been defined by their passing game more than anything. They throw the ball on everybody. But I think if there's any team they play that could, what's the right word? Michigan them, right?
Yeah.
Just make them look normal, bring them back down to reality. It's this Penn State team that feels almost, especially on defense, designed to be an Ohio State-esque team.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
if you
Yeah.
think about it, Penn State has been almost prepping for this one. They've probably been prepping it since the offseason.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, they played UMass last week,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had a bye week. So you pretty much gave yourself almost 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So you had your bye week, prep week to Ohio State, UMass.
Mm-hmm.
They really weren't looking at UMass.
Yeah, and
Prep
that's the
for
thing.
Ohio State, and now
That's
you get
what
this
makes
week. So
me.
you have 3 weeks
Yeah.
to prepare for this team, plus
Mhm.
whatever you did in the offseason.
Yeah.
I could see a very
I mean,
possession by possession, not a lot of points being scored here.
yeah. I mean, we talked about it before the show about look ahead spots like we were saying with Florida and Charlotte there that game. UMass was easily a look ahead spot for Penn State.
Yeah,
And they may have even looked ahead, not even focused that much on UMass, and they still won 63-0. Like this team is
they.
committed. This team is committed to James Franklin.
I mean, I have Penn State in my Final Four for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the best team in the Big Ten this year.
I just need to see them play Michigan first
Well,
because
they get
Michigan's
Michigan at home
defense.
too.
Yeah,
Which is
I
gonna
think they have
be
a.
big.
They'll probably do a whiteout game.
No, that's gonna be the new. It's a new kickoff.
That is why I hate the Big Ten. Um, Noon
So
kickoffs for top
they
10
already did the
matchups.
whiteout game. It might be
I
like the
just
stripe out game.
they're gonna have three. They're gonna have three top 10 matchups at noon
Well,
this
at
year.
noon. I was saying that the other day. I said it's so just criminal-esque that they have Fox's primetime game is a noon kick.
Who
Just like
makes these decisions?
Fox.
And what bothers me even more is that in these areas, this game is at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And a lot of
11 a.m. kicks.
11 a.m. It's like, what?
Yeah. I mean, they
Like,
had the USC Colorado game. It was a 9 or 10 a.m. kick.
yeah, come on.
But like I said, low scoring game. I believe both teams don't score.
Yeah.
Ranked. If you're looking at just ranked wise, Penn State's 130th in the country in points per game. Ohio State offensively is 112th in points per game. Like they're not scoring a whole lot of points.
Yeah.
But they're surely able to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're Ohio State, you're going to want to try to get the big plays, get the crowd, keep them in it.
Yeah.
If you're Penn State, you're going to want to take it possession by possession, I believe, and try to run the ball and limit the big plays. I think Marvin Harrison's got to have a big game.
Yeah.
He hasn't had that kind of breakout game yet, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had one earlier this year, but it was against not anything, no team that was special.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't do anything really against Notre Dame. They ran the ball well there. If they're able to, they need. I'll be interested to see how Kyle McCord does against that Penn State pass rush because he's going to have to take some hits. And I think that also, if you're looking at Ohio State's offense, just for the perspective of sacks and stuff, they can't fall behind the chains. Third and longs are going to make the difference, I believe.
Yeah.
Because if you're falling behind third down and long, whereas, third and 9+, whereas you could be 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, that's going to be a big difference. Because now if you're Penn State, you're either pinning your ears back, just pass rushing, or now you got to think. So, any other talks about it before we make a prediction?
I'm ready to make my prediction. I don't know about you.
Awesome. My prediction will be Penn State wins a very close one right now. Let me double check the line.
I think it's
line,
4.5.
Yeah. Over under is 45.5. So expect a low scoring game is what.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Penn State wins low scoring but to get it done, I'm going to go and say 20 to 2017. I think it's
okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I would say that's a similar score to I had. What was your over-under again? What was that?
It's 45.5.
45.5. So, I had Penn State winning at the end of the game on a field goal, 24-21.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Still, it would be the under.
It'd be the under, but still, I thought it was
Yeah.
44.5. But yeah.
All right, so those are our picks for the Ohio State Penn State. Expect a really good game. It really could go either way.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would not be surprised if Ohio State wins, but I just think Penn State right now is the better team. I like them more off, I think, overall. And I'm still thinking that run game can wake up at any point with those backs they have. So, yes.
I agree with you there.
Got the Nittany Lions. All right, moving on now.
Yep.
We have the third Saturday in October game. Everyone knows it down here in the South. And everywhere else you should. It's Alabama, Tennessee. This year it's in Tuscaloosa. Remember last year Tennessee won for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And you saw the scene. They pulled the field goal post down. Threw it in the river. But now it shifts to Tuscaloosa. You have two totally different teams than what you had last year. Last year's top final was 52-49. There ain't a chance where that remotely hits near that.
Yeah.
This year, two totally different teams with offenses that seem to struggle a bit and defenses that are pretty solid. So, my first thought is it's going to be the Alabama run D against Tennessee's rushing offense.
Yeah.
Because Tennessee goes to the run game, and if they were able to do like what they did to Texas A&M, and Texas A&M is a pretty solid run D, and they ran for 230 yards against that run D. If they were able to do that against Bama, that is going to be big. Bama typically hasn't given up a whole lot of rushing yards at this point.
Yeah.
But if you're able to run the ball, milk clock, set up play action, and get, execute in the red zone, they're going to be in good hands.
Yeah.
They didn't do that last week. They turned the ball over. They went for it they didn't get it on fourth down a couple times. Luckily, they had a great kickoff or a punt return that scored him a touchdown, bailed him out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I expected a low-scoring game here again. These are going to be two
defenses.
defenses.
I have a really low-scoring game too.
And I saw a stat the other day. I don't remember off the top of my head the exact number, but Bama is one of Jalen Milroe's interceptions or something, or passing yards, one of the other. It was interceptions. He throws some of the higher rated interceptions within like a 20-yard throw. Then he's up there, one of the top QBs that does that.
Yeah.
Whereas like down the field shots, he's not, because you just toss it out of bounds. And if Tennessee's able to turn him over, get pressure on him, they're a top 5 team in sacks. Jalen Milroe gets sacked more than any other quarterback, I think, in the SEC.
Yeah.
At least. But
I think you're right there too.
This is just gonna be a defensive slugfest. That's all that's all I can think right now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's gonna be a pretty low scoring game. I mean, I think Alabama favored by 8 is crazy to me.
That's one of the lowest. I think it's the lowest spread total in a game in Tuscaloosa under Saban against Tennessee.
Yeah. But I still think that's too high. I don't know how you feel. 8 under 48.
I mean, see, you could. I think last year was around this number in Knoxville.
Yeah.
But two different teams.
But last year, I don't think we were. I think we were really still high on Bama. After they beat
I was on Tennessee.
I'm just saying, yeah. There was still a lot of thought about Alabama being, elite last year before they lost this game, and then what other game did they lose last year?
All I know is Bama ranks 129th in the country in sacks allowed, and Tennessee's 4th in the country. And like I just said a little bit ago, like if they're gonna get pressure, they're gonna pin their ears back and get home, like they did last week against Max Johnson, like they did all year. The only team they couldn't do it against was Florida, which is crazy. But that's because Florida was able to run the ball effectively and get Mertz out, get him on the move, which might actually something Bama might be able to look at because Miller is someone that you can move him around.
Yeah.
Will he have time to do it? That's going to be one
we'll
thing.
See.
That again, though,
I do think Florida has a lot better of an offensive line, which does help.
It's all I mean, it also helps that they were able to run the ball because again, you're able to balance it out. Because if Tennessee is able to hold them on the run game, they're going to get after Milroe.
Yep. Yeah,
but I think Bama can, if Bama can, excuse me, take advantage. Not even take advantage. I think they're going to be able to get some deep shots. I think you can kind of look at, the A&M game where kind of similar feel where Tennessee, really good pass rush. Secondary's okay. But if the Tennessee's pass rush can't hold up or can't get home and Milroe has enough time, he expect them to maybe take some deep shots down the field and connect. They've had better success doing that than Tennessee has.
I mean Milton is Tennessee's had some problems. It's not even just Jalen Milroe. It's that he's got some of the worst drops I've ever seen by wide receivers in my life.
Who, Milroe or Milton?
Milroe. Or no, I'm sorry. Milton. Sorry. Yeah, that's me.
I mean, last week alone, there was a bunch of drops that could have altered that game.
But I say both quarterbacks, though. Both quarterbacks have wide receivers that have butterfingers on their hands, man. They just
also accuracy issues, though.
Yeah. No, both. Yeah, I think both quarterbacks are rather similar in that area, where
it's just crazy
they're both
that
a little turnover prone. They're both, not the most accurate guys, and they both have wide receivers that, for some reason, decide to not catch anything whenever they get the easiest shots.
Right. It's just crazy because Tennessee ranks 88th in the country in passing yards, and I know they were up there in like the top 3 to 5. Last year. Just how much like a quarterback and a couple of receivers just completely change an offensive mindset.
That's why I like Josh Heupel, though. There's not a lot of coaches who'd be willing to do that.
Can he sustain success with it?
I mean, we'll see. But I think this year's a rebuilding year for him too.
No, we can't say rebuilding year when they're 5-1.
Yeah, we can.
No, we can't.
2013 was a rebuilding year for the Noles. So
no, it wasn't.
It was, though. I mean, on paper, if you look at those numbers, man, come on.
Oh, well, come on.
Freshman quarterback.
But stop it. You are ridiculous. Freshman quarterback.
He was a freshman. Right. Come on.
No, I don't want to hear it. But as far as if you're looking at the outlook about if Tennessee wins, Tennessee would go to 3-1 in conference play.
Yep.
They need Florida to lose again, so they would love if Florida lost this next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say so they just hope that Georgia does what Georgia does.
Yes, but listen, if Bama wins, you move to 5-0 in conference play. As
they
Rocky
win.
They stay a game up on LSU.
Yeah,
which is big because then it really sets up that LSU matchup.
Because the second they play LSU, that will clinch the West for them
if they continue to win in conference.
No, I think after that LSU game, they don't play another SEC team but Auburn, so they would have.
But it's not the end of the world if Bama lost because it's a conference game, but it's not a division game, so you're not losing a tiebreaker.
Yeah,
like a head-to-head tiebreaker at least.
No, yeah, you're not losing a head-to-head, but if you lose again to LSU, you're done.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that one is. That's
because LSU would have a tiebreaker over you.
Yeah, that's only if LSU wins out, though.
Yeah, but I think LSU has the easiest remaining schedule of those teams.
They do. They
actually,
have
Ole Miss might.
No, I think it's LSU.
I mean, yeah. Because LSU will play.
But
I don't know who they play this week, but they'll play A&M.
They have Army this week.
Yeah, they got Army. Then they'll play Mississippi State.
No, they already played Mississippi State.
Oh, they'll play Florida.
They play Florida down the road, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and then they'll finish the season with A&M, which is the dumbest rivalry ever. I don't even want to get started on that. That's not a rivalry. Those are just two schools that are kind of close.
So do you think that? I mean, 8.5 is the number right now.
Yeah.
Do you think Bama's? I feel like part of me thinks Bama's going to be able to put this one away. Not put it away. I think
think it remains close till the end, man.
I could see a spot where Bama wins by like 10 to 13 points. It's maybe a late game score, but I think they're able to possibly cover that number. Just because they're at home this year, it's different than being on the road.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I just think.
Do you trust Milton enough on the road?
Joe Milton.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna. I feel like going on if they play similar to how they played A&M, which is where you just slug it out, right?
Yeah.
I think they could win this game. Legitimately, I think they could go to Tuscaloosa and win this game.
I think they need to get a defensive or special teams touchdown to really help win.
But I don't think that's that crazy to ask.
I think they're going to have to force turnovers on Milton.
Mm-hmm.
I think points again are going to be at a premium in this game as well.
Yeah.
Over under I think is 48.5.
I see the under hitting.
Yeah, I love the under this week.
Yeah,
in
I'm going under.
Mm-hmm. And I just think Bama's going to be able to win. I just don't trust Milton enough. Yeah. I think that if Bama's run D can limit Tennessee on the rushing game a little bit, then I think I gotta lean Bama.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Milroe be able to, win a game more than I have with Milton yet so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the lack of downfield. Tennessee is second to last, I believe, in the SEC in explosive plays of like 20 plus yards or more.
Mm-hmm.
And Bama is one of the highest teams in that category, mainly because their offenses kind of just struggle with the run, then hit a deep shot and hold on defense.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now it's working. And if one team's hitting deep shots and the other one's not, I'm going to take the team that's hitting the deep shots.
Okay, personally. That's fair. I mean, yeah, I get you. I mean, are you ready to make your predictions?
I am.
Yeah. Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to go Bama. I'm going to say low scoring again. I'm going to say 27 to 17.
Okay. So I'm going to go a little bit different to you. I went Alabama 20 to 17.
Let's see. What did you say, Bama? What?
20, Tennessee 17.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a really close one.
Actually, you know what? See, now I'm thinking about it. Nah, 27 is too big of a number. I was thinking because that would be 54.
Yeah.
We're going to change it. I'm going to go 23 to 14.
Oh.
Bama wins.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to just stay under the. There we go. 23-14, Bama wins. It's an ugly game.
Yeah.
Gross, but Bama gets the win. All right, moving on.
Yes.
And we're gonna let Dylan have some fun here.
Okay.
Even though we are non-biased, we respect all teams. Mm-hmm. Dylan has some, he does go to Florida State, if anybody wants to know. And so Dylan is a Nole.
Yeah.
And so Dylan wants to talk about Florida State, and he finally gets a game where they get to talk about them.
Oh yeah, it's been not great since Clemson. We've just been quiet.
Yeah. So I'll set the stage for you, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
So Dylan wanted this to be College Game Day. He wasn't ever going to get it. Anyway, Duke comes in.
Mm-hmm.
One loss, Duke. Still down Riley Leonard.
Yep.
It is the ABC primetime game. Kirk Herbstreit will be there calling the game. Love Kirk Herbstreit. Line is 14.5 for FSU. They come in 6-0. They are ranked, what are they, 4th in the country.
Yep.
Florida State fans keep crying every day that they won't change. You're not moving. Mm-hmm. Sorry, you don't play anybody. Thanks.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, we're behind Michigan. Who did they play?
But Michigan's already been up
No,
there.
come on.
I would rank Michigan if those two teams played on a neutral site right now. Michigan's favored.
Yeah. Okay.
By at least a touchdown.
No.
Oh, 100%.
They're favored by 4.5.
Bull cow. That's a new one. Write that one down for me. Bull cow. There is no way. No, it's at least 6.5. They would run the ball all over you.
That's our best part of our defense.
Well, you thought. Anyway. So off topic there. Duke 5-1, FSU 6-0, over under minus 14.5. The Noles get their big night game at home.
Yep.
And I really think this is going to be able to, if Florida State beats Duke, just giving my early input here, Florida State's able to beat Duke, and I expect that they do. Just the lack of quarterback play.
Yeah.
I think Duke has a really good defense, rock solid defense, like one of the better in the country.
Yeah.
Very good defensively. I'm looking at real quick stat. I mean, second in red zone efficiency, so they don't give up points a lot. 8th in the passing yards allowed. Big padlock stat right there. FSU loves to throw the ball.
Yep.
Duke plays the pass very well.
I mean, FSU runs the ball a lot too. They're running the ball for 177 yards a game.
I'm talking about though, like as far as like the
explosive plays, right?
Explosive plays, the weapons you have on the outside with Coleman, Bell, and Wilson. Duke is able to play, is able to match up well against guys like that. I think. Yeah, as far as like playing against the pass, I think Benson's gonna have to have a big game.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be if Florida State goes one-sided, that's the only way they're going to keep Duke in it for me. Jordan Travis will play his game. He's going to have a good game. He just can't turn the ball over.
Yeah,
I expect him.
Which he's been really good at this year.
If you're Duke, you're gonna have to create turnovers. They rank 54th in the country in turnovers. FSU unfortunately doesn't turn the ball over a lot. They rank 2nd in the country and offensively on not turning the ball over.
Yeah, they have 1 interception. I think they have 1 interception and 1 fumble that was turned over. The other ones they collect it back.
There's a bunch. I mean, there's a bunch of just good on good because offensively, FSU is one of the better in the country.
Yeah,
very good in the country. Defensively, Duke really good in the country. I mean, I'm just looking right here. Duke is 2nd in the country in red zone efficiency. FSU 7th.
Yeah.
FSU 10th in the country in yards per play. Duke is 15th. Good on good. But I think FSU is able to just overwhelm that defense, tire them down in a sense, fatigue them. Defense can only hold up for so long. Duke's going to need some sort of big play, a lot of big plays. Turnovers is what's going to get them to win.
Yeah.
Just don't see it. All right, go ahead.
Yep. Thank you. So I think the biggest thing in this game is especially since Riley Leonard they said he's a game time decision, which I don't know how you feel. The way it's looked like to me, it feels more like they're just trying to get FSU to not, get FSU to think they might game plan.
I mean, if you're Duke, you gotta. If he's
ready
ready
to practicing.
There's plenty of players all the time that don't practice all week but they'll play on Saturday or Sunday. If you're Duke, why not? You have to win this game.
Yeah. I just think, you don't want to re-injure the guy.
Yeah, but you also can't fall behind and lose. Well, actually, to be fair, they haven't lost a conference game yet.
Yeah, they're fine. They lose this game, and then they beat North Carolina.
But why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. But
if he's ready, you're ready.
If he's ready, but from what it looks like, he might be just like a couple days behind. So I do think he probably does not play from what I've seen so far. Game time decision. There's a 50-50 chance he plays, but it looks like it's leaning towards not playing. Yeah. So I think that if you're FSU, unless they have some crazy backup we didn't know about.
Yeah.
I don't think Duke's offense is going to be able to do a lot. And therefore, I think that's going to crush, it's going to hurt Duke's defense. Because FSU is going to get the ball a lot. They're going to get a lot of time of possession. And they're going to pretty much wear out that Duke defense.
Now, do you worry at all as far as FSU maybe playing down to your opponent? Because we've seen that at times this year.
I thought about that.
We saw it. I'm thinking about inferior team like Boston College.
Yeah.
Or Clemson.
So here's the thing. Both of those were road games.
But it's Boston College.
Yeah, but Boston College...
You were a 25.5-point favorite.
It was a road game. It was a red bandana game.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Red bandana, but other than that.
I mean, that one it was just that's a straight up trap game right there. Same with the Pittsburgh game later this season.
Yeah.
That's a trap game that they need to focus on. This game reminds me of, like, not saying that they're on the same level as Virginia Tech or Syracuse, but that the team is ready for this kind of game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
7:30. It's gonna be a sold out Garnet crowd.
Oh yeah.
Duke has, no offense, but Duke has a smaller football fan base. There's not gonna be that many Duke fans there. It's Tallahassee. That the offense and the defense have looked fantastic the last 2 weeks they've played. They've gotten a lot of practice. They've got a lot of reps against teams that, aren't great. Let's be honest here. Virginia Tech and Syracuse aren't great teams. So they've had time to work on new plays, work and see what works, what doesn't. That game against Virginia Tech, Trey Benson had 2 60-yard runs. Like, they're seeing what works and what doesn't. And I think this game specifically, they know what they're going to do, and they're just going to come out and kill Duke, personally. That's what I think is going to happen, is that they're going to win. They're going to continue their 30-point per game. They're going to set that ACC record.
Oh, yeah? Setting a record today? Or Saturday?
Not this game, but it's like if they win 2 more ACC
gotcha.
games, by averaging 30 points a game, right? Every single game they put up 30. They've done that since last year. Since the Clemson game last year? Yeah. Every single game they've played, they've put up 30 points a game.
So, I think we're ready for picks?
Yes.
All right. So, I'm going to take FSU. I think that they're not going to be able to just do whatever they want on offense. I think Duke's defense is very good.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the Noles to win 27 to 10.
Okay. That's fair. I mean, I do think just because of the way Florida State's been, like, they're not saying they're chasing records, but they want this 30 points per game thing.
Yeah.
They would pass the ball.
I just think Duke's defense is going to be able to keep it in check enough.
Yeah.
Where before Florida State starts to pull ahead, and then that's why I'm going Florida State 33, Duke 14. Okay.
I think Duke gets the ball to start the game, and I think they go down and score right away. We're gonna see some random guy post on Twitter, "Stop the count."
Stop the count.
And and then Florida State's gonna just take over from there. I think the biggest problem with Duke is not having Riley Leonard is gonna make their offense suffer, especially against a team like Florida State that has guys on defense that can put up a ton of pressure on the quarterback. They've had some bad moments, but they've got guys in the secondary who were preseason All-Americans. You know what I mean? Like Ventrell Cypress and Akeem Dent. They got guys who can do some damage on defense. And I just think that this game's going to be too much for Duke, not having Riley Leonard, and that Florida State's just going to be able to... I think Florida State probably has a defensive touchdown in this game. I
wouldn't be shocked how sloppy sometimes that Duke our offense will get, especially from last week. I think they only threw the ball like 4 times.
I'm pulling up the numbers for that one because they threw the ball 12 times, 4 completions.
4 completions, there it was.
Yeah.
Still won, though, by like 3 scores.
No, I mean, here's the thing, is they won that game primarily on their defense and running the ball, and it's hard to run the ball on Florida State's defense. That's one of the things that their defense has been pretty solid with, is they don't give up a ton of rushing yards, but their passing defense has had some bad moments.
All right, moving on, though.
Yep.
Miami, Clemson. Brief, but, it's a big enough game, I think we got to talk about. It's on the ACC network.
Yep.
This is honestly a game where you have 2 teams that one of them is going to have their 3rd loss before Halloween.
Yeah.
And, Miami, you beat A&M earlier this year, and now you're like, okay, here we go. And then you lost to Georgia Tech.
Yep.
And then you just lost to North Carolina. So now you're here. You're at home. You have Clemson coming in off the bye.
Yep.
Clemson already has 2 losses too against Duke and Florida State. Both teams are not in contention anymore for the ACC title game.
Yep.
This is strictly a not playing for pride, but you're trying. You have different goals now the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And for Miami, they haven't beaten Clemson at home since 1956.
Mm-hmm.
It's the last time Miami beat Clemson at home, and that's a long time.
Yeah.
Long time. Long time.
It's been a minute, right?
I'd say an hour or so.
Yeah.
A little longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing for me, Miami just turns the ball over just like snap your fingers. They turn the ball over a lot
from Tyler Van Dyke.
They have our 103rd in turnover margin, 116th in turnovers per game offensively, and they rank 123rd in penalties.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not disciplined and they're turning the ball over. But they have a good enough quarterback and offense to, stay in games. I mean, they rank 7th in the country in yards per play, 13th in points per game. They are 14th in passing yards, 28th in rushing, 22nd in sacks allowed, so they don't give up a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
Clemson, vice versa, defensively gives up gives up a bunch of points, 107th in points a game. They do play the run and the pass pretty solidly, 14th in passing, 9th in rushing yards allowed. I just think if they just play a clean game, I have more confidence in Miami than I do Clemson. I just, one team can score and the other one struggles to score.
Yeah.
And Miami plays all right defense. I mean, nothing crazy, but they're 10th in rushing yards, and Clemson likes to run the ball. So
I mean, to be fair though, what North Carolina did last week on the ground.
That's what I mean. But North Carolina, outside of North Carolina, not a lot of teams have been able to have that success.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'll get into my opinion right away on this. I do think Clemson is a better team.
Okay.
I just think Clemson has a better defense. I know Miami's numbers look good on paper, but the game against UNC almost exposed every problem they have. They,
yeah,
they have a turnover problem on offense. They have weird problems on defense where there's guys in the secondary who don't stick to their mans for some reason. It just doesn't make sense. And their front seven's good, but at times they get if they play a better offensive line, they're not going to be able to keep up with them. So I do think that obviously, Clemson's offense is mediocre at best.
Yeah, and that was just so wild. Just how there's a bunch of expectations. They bring in Garrett Riley.
Yeah,
we saw what he did at ECU last year, and now he comes in, and it's just like, what is it more like Dabo interfering with it, or is it just not? But is his scheming just not fitting?
I think it's a mix of both, but I do think that Clemson, I'll just straight up say I think Clemson wins this game purely on the back of their defense.
Yeah, okay.
Because they've got a great secondary. That's been one of their big features this year. They're only giving up 175 passing yards a game, and of ACC teams, they've probably played one of the tougher ACC schedules.
Mm-hmm.
They played Duke, they played Florida State, and they held Florida State in check till the end of the game. Really,
they did. They controlled. Some people are arguing that. You could argue Clemson outplayed Florida State. It was a couple tough breaks and coaching decisions that killed them. That ruined the game for Clemson.
Yeah, but I think Clemson. They're gonna get it together this week for this game. They had the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
They've had time to prepare for this game. Miami's reeling off back-to-back losses where they got embarrassed in both in different ways.
Yep.
To me, this game feels like the perfect Clemson revives their season and they win 10 games.
I think Miami is the better team here. I like them at this spot at home. I think it was just a tough. You go from Georgia Tech after what happened there. You had now, then you got to go play North Carolina. It's like okay, but now you come back home.
Yeah,
I think they could just you hit the reset button when has happened the last 2 weeks, and you just say, okay, listen, new slate. We just got to play a clean game. Limit the turnovers. Protect the football if you're Tyler Van Dyke. And just go out and play our game. I mean, remember, they were winning at halftime against North Carolina. I know what happened in the second half, but they are able to compete with any team. So I think that they are going to win. I think they're going to be able to obviously cover because they're a underdog in this. But I think that they're going to win. I'm going to say the score is a lot of these are more just the lower end. I mean, I could see Miami, I think I'm going to take Miami 30-23.
See, I just think personally that this is Clemson's spot to just win. This is the kind of games that Clemson, we both talk about. We go, okay, maybe these teams are a little evenly matched, but then Clemson just they win.
Yeah.
And they look kind of like they not embarrassed, but like that they were just better the whole time. You know what I mean? I mean, there's not going to be a lot of people there. I'm looking at tickets right now. I mean, on ESPN, you can get a ticket for $17. There's not going to be anybody at this game. It's an 8 p.m. game that's going to look empty.
I mean, just think this was probably maybe went from potential primetime ABC to ACC network.
I mean, this game. I mean, if we look at a preseason thing, this game could have been like a game day pick.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
But now, I mean, it's who can outlast the other one.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Clemson 28-24. I think Clemson covers the spread. I do think Miami keeps it close at the end. But I think Clemson is going to be up like 21-7 at one point, and they're just going to they're going to give Will Shipley the ball.
Yeah.
The rest of the game.
All right. We're going to move on to
our
final game. To your favorite team.
Oh, my favorite team. I feel like you love talking about USC.
I don't like talking about USC. I have to defend America for what you try to defend USC on.
Okay.
So that's all I'm going to say. But Utah comes in. This is another big ranked on ranked. I'm going to check real quick where Utah's
This ranked. Should be game day.
This is not going to be game day. No. Utah ranked 14th in the country. USC 18th in the country. USC coming off a horrendous loss at Notre Dame.
Yep.
Where Dylan will be wearing a Notre Dame shirt next episode. Utah, who is still without their starting quarterback Cam Rising this year. He has not played a game. Is expected not to play again this week. Comes in 5-1. They shut down. Crap! I wasn't even watching the game last week for Utah. I apologize. Cal. They played Cal last week. Won by 20. Won by 20. Listen. I
don't blame you, man.
Busy guy.
There's a lot better things to do than watch Utah play football.
But listen. I actually had it pulled up right here. Listen. Utah 5-1. They go to LA to play USC. USC back at home.
Yep.
And I look at it like this. If Utah is able to run the football, they have to run the football well enough against USC to keep that offense off the field. This is one of those spots where when you don't have your starting quarterback, you've got to be able to find ways to limit the other team that has a really good offense.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to do what they did probably against like UCLA or Florida and just hit a big shot here or there and then run the ball and play really good defense. And they play awesome defense. They are number 1 in the country in third down defense.
Yeah.
They are up there in total defense just alone. Here, I'm going to find it real quick here. Oh, and I should. This is just not good preparation on my part. Scoring defense. 5th in the country in scoring defense with 12 points a game.
Yeah.
USC 2nd in the country in scoring offense at 47 points a game. If we look at what these two teams have happened last year, Utah 47-24 they won.
Mm-hmm.
And they also beat them 43-42. But I'm just thinking it like that. If you're able to run the football well against the USC defense that ranks 85th in the country in rushing defense and 91st in passing yards, and you rank 48th in the run deep and rushing offense, you're going to be okay. The issue is Utah doesn't throw the ball very well. They rank 125th in passing yards.
They throw for 150 yards a game.
They don't throw the ball effectively very well. And,
at all, really.
No,
I mean, that's,
no.
yeah.
But I do like how Utah doesn't turn the ball over, though. They're 8th in the country in that department offensively. They don't turn the ball over. Vice versa, USC, who was really good at it last year, isn't good at it this year. They're 101st in the country in turnovers. So if you're able to protect the football, hit a deep player here, hit a deep play here or there, and just run the ball effectively well, I think they're going to be fine. I trust the defense. The defense is going to be fine. Okay. The defense is going to be able to get after USC. USC's all O-line stinks. They stink, okay?
Yeah.
And Utah ranks 6th in the country in sacks defensively. 1st in the country in third downs, like I said. Third down and first down. 3rd in the country in first downs allowed. 44th in passing yards. 2nd in rushing yards. 19th in yards per play. And 6th in red zone efficiency. USC's not good in the red zone either, by the way.
Yeah, USC, that's their biggest weakness. Is their
118th offensively or defensively in the red zone. So if Utah can get down to the red zone, they'll probably score.
Yeah.
Offensively, though, USC is 26, so it's good on good there. I'm telling you, if they're able to do what Notre Dame did and force turnovers, they're going to win.
Now, I'm going to stop here because I don't think they're going to be able to win, just purely on the fact that they have no offense.
I mean, Notre Dame didn't do anything special on offense last week.
No, but USC
they forced turnovers.
USC played the worst offensive game they have.
They turned the ball over, and they turned the ball over. And now you're playing against a team that's a defense that statistically is better.
Yeah, but I don't think USC is going to make any of those mistakes again. They're going to wash everything.
You think?
I think USC is going to they're going to come out. They're going to win. It will be close just because USC's defense is going to end up giving up a decent amount of points because that's just what they do. But I don't think they're going to give up points because of run. Like, Utah's not going to pass the ball. So their drives are going to take forever. So they're going to lose opportunities because they can't score quick enough.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's going to be the biggest problem is I think if they had any better quarterback, I think they could beat USC this week. I legitimately do. But I think just because they're handicapped there.
Yeah.
Like they're just, like they're any drive they do is going to take forever.
They're going to kill clock and keep Williams off the field then.
Yeah, but USC is going to be able to score right away. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
I think they can. That's the thing is I think
they can.
I think going after last week, because they played a horrible game last week, they're probably spending the hardest week of practice ever, making sure they can't turn over the ball.
Well, Riley doesn't do that. They
Okay.
They don't. I think of it like this. You either look how I just said it, and it is a Utah 21-20 win, or it's a USC 38-10 win. You know what I mean? You could have one of those ways, right? Yeah, like I said, Utah wins 24-21-20, or it's 27-23 or something crazy like that. I like Utah. If we're playing by defenses, I'm just going to lean Utah's defense. And I think that Utah's defense, kind of something that where Florida State's going to be able to take care of Duke. I think Utah is going to be able to take advantage of doing just enough on offense and playing really good defense that they're going to keep USC in check. And when you keep teams that you should beat in the game, typically bad things happen. And that's why I'm going to take the Utes to win this outright. I would take them to cover. I'll take them outright to win. This one, I'll take 27-23.
Okay. Well, I think USC wins. I just think that without a quarterback for Utah, they're just handicapped for me. There's a limit to what they can do. I mean, if you look at their games, they haven't really played a lot of good quarterbacks this year. I mean, the best quarterback they've played is Graham Mertz. And, I mean, say what you will about Graham Heisman Mertz, but, he's not exactly a superstar, right?
Utah has won the last 3 matchups.
Yeah. And I think this game was circled before the season started for USC. I think this is a game they went into the season that they need to win. They get them at home.
Yeah.
They get, every kind of advantage you would want, I think they have in this game. So I am leaning USC. I'm going to take USC 38-28.
All right. Good enough right there.
Yeah.
We will move on to a good section now called Upset Alert. As we wrap up here, we have this and best bets. Upset Alert. I got a couple games here, and we're just going to decide which team's on Upset Alert. South Carolina's at Missouri. Missouri is a 7-point favorite. Oklahoma State's at West Virginia. West Virginia's -3.5. Air Force is at Navy, -10.5. Air Force is favored. Texas is at Houston at 23.5-point favorite. Ole Miss is at Auburn, and Ole Miss is a 6.5-point favorite. Dylan, which team is not likely to cover that line, and which team is likely to be upset this week?
So I think Texas is least likely to cover the 23.5-point spread because that's a big spread for a road game. Like, that's not an easy one. However, I think the most likely upset will be Oklahoma State over West Virginia. Oklahoma State's been hitting their stride recently. They've been looking pretty good the last couple weeks. I think West Virginia has a decent squad, but this is one of their big real matchups before they play, they go down to Orlando to play UCF. I think Oklahoma State to upset West Virginia.
I'm going to take Auburn to keep that game against Ole Miss in check at 6.5. I think it's a night game at Auburn, which are always crazy. And Ole Miss's defense, are they going to be able to? I mean, maybe Auburn has some success. I'm just strictly guessing right there.
Yeah.
The one I like the most, I think I like Missouri in the 7 at home to get their not only win, but I think they win by at least 10-12.
Missouri?
Yeah. What happened last week? South Carolina, their coach broke their foot kicking a Gatorade cooler. And then, right. And then what am I thinking? Then you blow a 10-point lead with 9 minutes to go in the 4th against Florida, where you had that game. Now you got to go to Columbia to take on Missouri, who's just finding ways to win. And I like Missouri. I think 7. I think they're able to cover that number.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right. We're going to finish out here with best bets. We're 14, 13, and 1 this year. When it comes to betting, we had 3 and 2 last week. I have 5 here, and we'll see how they do this week. Some of these I may not personally put money on, but I think they're good numbers. If you think betting is cool, here you go. Alabama, Tennessee, I like the under 48.5.
Yeah.
South Carolina, Missouri, I like the over 60. Because I just don't like Missouri's defense, but I think they're able to pull away. But South Carolina, I think, is going to score some points. Michigan, I love Michigan they're stealing signs, and now you get to take on their little brother, and Michigan State. I like them -24. Miami, I listen, this is strictly Miami business. Miami +3. If anything, even if they lose, I think they cover that number, or at least push it. Oregon -20. They're back at home after that tough loss where I think they really should have won.
Yeah.
Now you get Washington State, who has been reeling the last couple weeks after starting so good. They get them at home -20, and they're wearing the throwbacks. So hammer the Duckies there and quack along as they win. So those 5 right there.
Yeah.
Alabama.
I think I agree with all of them but Miami.
Well, listen, this is why we're here, to disagree. So anyway, we actually got through a pretty good time this this week.
Yeah, I know, right? For a second there when we were talking about that first game, I was like, oh man, this one might go on for a while.
Listen, we cruised right into the hour mark here, so good job on us.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be a great job for you guys if you just subscribe.
Yep.
Watch along on YouTube, listen on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, hit that subscribe button. Too many of you guys are watching without subscribing.
Yeah.
Subscribe. It's just right there. Hit that big old subscribe button and hit that thumbs up as well.
Mm-hmm.
And before we send everyone out happy, Dylan, any last thoughts?
Go Noles.
Go Noles. There you go. High on the Noles this week.
Yes.
Enjoy all the action.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be another great week of football.
Yes.
We'll see you on Tuesday. Peace out.
See you guys.